Hello! In this video, I'm going to show you the very basics of accounting in Odoo based on your accountant's or your accounting team's view of things. So what I mean by this is that this is going to be for the person who is not a sales team member, who is going in and creating invoices and registering payments. So hello, accounting person. First and foremost, I want to show you where your salespeople are working. So they're in the sales application, and what they're doing is they are creating sales orders and then confirming them, which leaves you to come in and create an invoice for it, right? So you don't register payment right on the sales order in Odoo. You create a bridge or transitional record called an invoice. Duh. The difference is that the quotations live in the sales application, whereas the invoice and payments are different records that live in the accounting part of the database. That's why they're different. And trust me, after you do this once, twice, 10 different times, it's going to make a lot of sense to you and make your accounting, in my opinion, a lot easier to follow because everything is in cleaner columns. So your job is to come in and create the invoices, right? So if we go into accounting and we take a look at customers, invoices, which is where your invoices live, you got nothing. So it's time for you to go in and make some invoices. So how are you going to do that? You're going to go into the sales application and take a look at all of the sales orders that your salesperson Amanda has created and worked hard to create for you. If you need to look up by customer, let's do it. Amanda teaches Odoo. Make sure you click on search customer for, and then all of that customer's sales orders are going to pop up. Let's say your boss gives you a sales order number. You can enter it and it'll bring it up for you. Let's say that you need to find the date that it expires. You can come in here and take a look at some of the different things that you can add to your viewport that make life a little bit easier for you. So for us, of course, it's going to be expiration. And then I also recommend adding in invoice status. That way you know for sure which ones are invoiced, which ones are not. I'll be able to show you that in a second. You may be asking yourself, why are these blue? It is because they are still to invoice. So that's a really good indicator as well, that if a sales order record is still, the total is still in blue, that means it's your time to invoice it and your job to invoice it, okay? So let's take a look at how to create some invoices. So we will start off with our fun customer 12. They don't have any other sales orders here, so we're going to go into this record, the sales order, and what we want to do now is click that big purple button. So basically, Odoo helps you out a bit by highlighting in purple the next steps that you want to take on a record to follow the out-of-the-box flow. So we're going to do what it says and click Create Invoice. You have some options here of creating a down payment percentage invoice or creating a down payment fixed amount invoice. Right now we are going to create a regular invoice and we're going to click Create Draft. And that word draft is really important, okay? Because Odoo does not automatically post an invoice when you create it. It gives you a second to make sure that everything is totally correct, including the sequence that you want, the quantity, the price, the amount. If there was some sort of discount or something, you can add a line and create a discount. We want to make sure that the invoice date is for today. So this is what an invoice will look like in Odoo. It's fairly straightforward. We've got the customer, the invoice date, the due date. We have the account that it's hitting, the quantity, the price, any taxes, which I'll send another video to you for, the amount, and then of course the product. Just like with any journal entry though, you are able to add a line here. So you don't necessarily need a product. If you want to credit or debit a different account, like a discount account, and add a discount by doing a negative price, you can definitely do that. And so it comes down to $760, and then with taxes it's $806, but we don't have to do that. So all right, you're in the draft status, and your last step here is really to click the confirm button. What that does is it posts to your books. In the draft state, it wasn't posted to your books yet. It didn't hit the product sales account. Once you've clicked posted, that is going to be a line item in your product sales account and in your general ledger. So easy peasy. Next up, we'll do the payment option, but first and foremost, I want to go back to my sales orders and create some more invoices. So I'm going to click on, these are called breadcrumbs in Odoo. If I click the breadcrumb back to sales order 4, or I can click the smart button, same difference, it's going to take me back to that sales order that I just created an invoice on. So it creates this little bridge up here between the invoice and the sales order, which makes it really easy to toggle back and forth and make sure that everything is going well. So I'm going to follow the breadcrumbs back, and we've got our quotations. All right, cool. So check out Fun Customer 12. The total is now in black, and the invoice status is fully invoiced, which is great. How about if we have our US customer and we want to create one invoice for both of these sales orders? We can absolutely do that. The easiest way that I tend to do this is by clicking on customer, and then it'll just automatically shuffle them into alphabetical order. However, you can also take the extra step and go to the search button, US customer, search customer. And then you can click on this button to select all of them without having to individually click on each of them. So we are going to do something kind of different, which is from this screen, we're going to click Create Invoices. And we're going to keep this at consolidated billing. And of course, if you hover over this tooltip, it tells you exactly what it's going to do, which is create one invoice for all orders related to the same customer, invoicing address, and delivery address, which is exactly what we want. We've got 2 orders here, 2 orders up here, looks good. Click Create Draft. Cool, and so now what we've seen is that Odoo has consolidated all of the lines from the different sales orders. We can double check that by clicking on the Smart button to take us to those sales orders and see exactly what was going on. So right here we have consulting hours, 150, 12 notebooks, and another 10 consulting hours. If we click on sale orders, we'll click into the first sale order and see that it was 12 notebooks and 10 consulting hours. That's right. Go back to the sales orders to the second sale order that we consolidated. It should say, and it does, 150 consulting hours. All right. So following the breadcrumbs back, we've got the sales orders that we just combined into one draft invoice, which we can see right here. And this is all looking good to us. So we're going to go ahead and click confirm. And now our product sales accounts have been hit. All right. I want to take a quick time out, go back and show you exactly what I mean by the product sales accounts being hit. So we're going to go into accounting. We're going to go to configuration. And then we are going to find our general ledger. Oops, it's in reporting. Reporting, general ledger. Cool. And so now what we can see, if we expand this, is all of the line items that have hit our product sales, which is from the first invoice that we created, and then that second invoice that we just consolidated with sales orders 7, 6, and 7. All right. And then as per usual, our accounts receivable is going to be debited opposite these lines, but they're going to be debited in sum. So instead of it's on an invoice by invoice level that it's debited, it's not necessarily an invoice line by invoice line level. So we see that invoice 2 debited a full 17K, but here it's split up. The reason for that is because if we go in customer invoices, we take a look at our US customer, we see that we can define on the line level the account that it's going to hit. But then in the journal items, we see that it's really just one debit to offset all these credits. Okay, let's resume our work. Let's go back into sales, uncheck that, and now we can see that we have all of these in black, right? So if you really wanted to, you could go into each of these sales orders and click create invoice on there and then post it, or we can click all of them minus the ones that have already been invoiced, and we can click create invoices, and we cannot choose consolidated billing. So Amanda Teaches Odoo, for example, will receive separate invoices for these separate sales. Okay. Awesome. So now we see all of these have been generated in the draft status. These are all of our invoices. Again, you can take a look in each one of these and click confirm. But if you're confident, go ahead and click all of them, actions, confirm entries. Boom, they're posted. All right. So now if we go back to our quotations, here are sales orders, we should see that all of them are fully invoice status and all of them are black in terms of the total. And we do. So now we can go back to our accounting application. See that we have 7 unpaid invoices. If we go into customers' invoices, you see all 7 of those right here. All right, cool. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to register payment on your invoices and exactly what that does in your general ledger. In today's video, we covered how to go into your sales application and create invoices one by one for each of your sales orders, or consolidate with multiple customers, or do them all at once. We took a look at how that affects your general ledger by going into accounting, reporting, general ledger. We saw that accounts receivable is on an invoice by invoice basis being hit, whereas product sales is invoice line by invoice line basis. And then of course, our tax received account is going to be credited as well. All right, I'll see you in the next video for how to register payments.